Hi everyone, this is Kay from AdMain and I'm back today with another video of Antique Booths 101. I promised you to make one every week this week, and yesterday, I'm sorry, there was no video, and I probably should have realized that I cannot really promise things that I'm not sure I can hold. But yeah, sometimes life happens, and I had a very sick kid here yesterday. So today comes the third installment of Antique Booths 101, and today I'm going to cover uh, the 10 top mistakes that new sellers make when they set out to sell in an antique booth. So this is geared for newbies, people who who haven't sold extensively in a retail space before. And this is all based on talks I had with my antique mall owner. I just went in there with pen and paper and really tried to pick her brain about a lot of things. And uh, I just compiled a top 10 list of what she said is the most important thing when you set out to start reselling in an antique booth. And I'm sorry if I misled you thinking I was going to have her on camera. I don't think she would be the kind who would like to be on camera. She's a very non-nonsense type main woman, but yeah. And really quick also, I should have covered this probably before, but when you set out to start selling in an antique booth, do not even think about going for the upscale kind right away. If you have no experience doing this, stay away from those really fancy, beautiful, sophisticated antique markets and antique malls out there, because you're going to just feel so out of your league. And besides, they have just a lot of rules and regulations, and you can sell items only from certain periods. And I don't know, there's just this whiff of snobbery there that can really be sort of make you disillusioned a little bit. So I would say go look for the sort of middle of the road antique market, the more fun type. You can sell everything there. My place has very few rules, and I would really characterize it more as a curiosity shop. It's just really mixture of everything. In my language, we have an expression called everything from lobster to canaries, and that's really what it is. It's just a great variety of stuff. So really quick reminder, just try to go for the sort of middle of the road place when you set out to sell in an antique market. Number one, she said, and she witnesses this a lot, and there's quite a turnover here for the new sellers. Don't come in and expect to get rich. There are apparently a lot of people who think, they have Antiques Roadshow in their attic, and now they're going to sell it in an antique booth and just going to, cash out and make a killing. And that is just not going to happen. Like I said in the previous video, look at it as a hobby with the potential to make some good money. And that's right off the back. You are not going to get rich having an antique booth. The second one is very, very poignant, I think, and that is don't give up after 2 or 3 months. She sees the highest turnover after 2 or 3 months. Where I am, you can rent from month to month. Some places you have to sign a lease for 3 to 6 months. I would say stay away from the 6-month leases. I think that's a little limiting. You just never know what can happen. A 3-month thing, I think is pretty valid, because I think at a minimum you should stay at a place for 3 months to get a feel for it. So many things change based on season. Christmas is always very busy. Where I am, summer is very busy because I'm in a tourist place. Spring is terrible. If you set up an antique booth in spring, typically you're not going to do as great, because spring is just not a very good season for antique markets. And fall, for some reason, that's what people think of as going antiquing. Fall has, okay, it's getting colder. Let's go and look at the, antiques and fun things for the inside, and we, huddle up back inside again. Number 3 is price to sell. And that means, you got to price your items in the market you're in. And she also said something I hadn't thought about, and, it didn't occur to me, but I see what she's saying. She says, price your items so that for other dealers. And so what she means by that is, so I am in Maine, and it's not, the most sophisticated state in the Union. It's gorgeous, it's great, people have summer homes here and everything, but it's no New York, it's not even Boston or the West Coast or California, everything. So even though I have super chic items, I can't price it to sell as if I were in New York or in California. And what I have seen is that I would say about 20% of my items are bought by other dealers, and these are dealers that come and stop along the road, that come from New York, or they come from Boston, or they come even from Canada, where I am. And I know this because dealers automatically get 10% off all the items. So yeah, 20% of my stuff is bought by other dealers, and I'm fine with that. You know, I'm happy, they're happy, they get to resell it even at a better place. So that's really what she means by that. You know, you're gonna price it at the market you are in. 4, she was talking about um, sell a mix of products or items. Don't just try to specialize right away. I will cover that in a different episode because there's some debate about that. Some specialization can be very good. But when you start out, try to just have a mixture of things and see what kind of works for you. See what you like doing, see what sells, and get a feel of what different things sell for. So definitely spread out and have a mixture of items. Don't focus on just one type of niche or one type of time period or things like that. So I'll cover that more in a later episode. And number 5, don't start out with a locked case. So in a lot of antique markets and antique booths, you can opt to rent a locked case. And that mean they're beautiful and people can make a lot of money in them, but they typically, you know, they sell higher end products and they really know what they're doing. So in my antique market, people who sell a lot of vintage cameras or knives or weapons in general, jewelry, watches, things like that. And I just love to browse the cabinet. But I will tell you, I have never asked to open one. There's such a hassle. People feel that if they see something in a locked case that they need to get, you know, the owners to open it and everything, and then they feel like, well, what if I don't want to buy it and have to put it back? So in her advice, and I would say the same thing based on my own just customer experience, don't start out with a locked case, even though they look beautiful. People are going to get intimidated when they just go in there to browse. And people who go to antique malls, they browse. You know, it's all about getting them to pick up your products. I'm a big believer of that. If they pick up your product, it's very hard to put it back down. And window shopping, you know, there's no commitment there. So number 6, very, very, very important. I see this myself. I've learned this the hard way. Restock often. So what she said also is that a lot of new sellers have this little bit of a honeymoon period. You know, they come in with all their new stuff and they see, you know, some great sales in the first couple of weeks. And then they just, you know, kind of sit back and it's like, oh, wow, all this stuff is going to sell itself. And, you know, then, you know, the sales slow down. And for online sellers, you know, you see the same thing. You open up an eBay store, you put a lot of stuff there, things sell, and then suddenly, you know, a lot of stuff just sits there. You have to keep adding stuff. And you have to go in on a regular basis to add items. So the minimum I would say is that you should go in once a week. I would say if you are able to, go in twice a week. I typically go in twice a week and I add new things. And if you don't add new things, you should rearrange your things or clean up your things. Customers can be very messy. They can put stuff everywhere and you know, remove your items and put them in other people's booths. And you know, I have people that take stuff off my shelf and put it on the floor. And absolute key, I think, is to go in at least once a week, preferably twice a week if you live close by, but once a week, and add stuff or rearrange stuff. 7, start small and then upgrade. So a lot of new sellers, you know, they see these, if they are available, they see bigger booths and they go like, whoa, this is gorgeous. And they see the neighbor booth and it's like, I can do this. And they just, you know, bite over more than they can chew really and go for the big fancy booth. Now, a lot of you are not going to even have that available because they're waiting lists. But I started small and I worked myself up, and it builds confidence. You learn while you're doing it, and it's sort of a process for me. I have one of the bigger booths now, but I will absolutely tell you to start small, and you know, that way you have smaller rent, you have smaller risk, you have smaller space to play around in, and you can plan ahead for a bigger booth as you go along. So start small. Don't go for the big shiny booth right off the bat. And then number 8, sell lots of smalls. What she means by that is like basically sell a lot of items that cost $5 and less. And I do this myself too, because it is true, the smalls will pay your rent, and the bigger items, that's where you get your profit. I sell a lot of things that are $5 and less. For instance, I sell coffee mugs all day long, and they are $5 to, well, some of them are more than that. But the general standard coffee mugs, I price at $5, and they're quick out of there, and I replenish them because, they're everywhere. And, people just love that kind of stuff. Also, I sell a lot of things in little grab bags. People love those things, and I price them between $3 and $5. Postcards are great as a small thing. Some inexpensive children's books. I sell some golden books in my booth, in a basket, things like that. Sell a lot of smalls. And then, um, oh, I have a pet peeve about this one. Keep your items clean. There is nothing worse than your items sitting on the shelf and they start getting cobwebs on them and dusty. I mean, you don't want it to look like an antique item has just been dug out somewhere. Really keep your stuff clean. It is such a turn off when things are unclean. I've even seen stuff in my antique market where there are like dead bugs inside of glassware. It's so hideous, and nobody's going to buy that. Keep things clean. Retro, old, vintage stuff, they still need to have great patina, but they still need to look clean. And finally, this is very important too, and I will talk more about this when I talk more about decorating. Keep stuff at eye level. A lot of people make the mistake of putting stuff on the floor where you can't see them, put stuff in boxes where you have to sort through them. Just in regular retail stores, keep most of your best stuff at eye level. And yeah, that's something you will learn as you go along as well. I see this video is getting long as well, but anyway, those were some of the mistakes that a lot of the newbies make. So if you're thinking about selling an antique booth, definitely go over what I've just said, because those are the big ones. And I see it for myself as well. I will try to come back tomorrow. If everything goes well, I'll be back tomorrow with more Antique Booth 101. Make a comment, ask a question, go over to my Facebook page, and you can ask questions there too. And I will see you soon. Bye from Kay and Mad Main.